I think, and we need to remind ourselves it's the little things like breathing, like being outdoors, getting in some sunshine, right? Some natural vitamin D, if you will, getting your feet in the dirt or the sand or the water or whatever it is you can get yourself, acclimated back to as far as nature, because sometimes we're indoors too much. So with that being said, let's start chatting. Let's talk about Restore. I don't know if I call it the most magical product, but it probably is the most magical product. It's been that way for me for a couple decades. My story actually starts on this health journey with Tylene with heavy proteolytic enzymes. Because during the time that I had met Tylene initially, I was really dealing with a lot of pain issues in my hands. I was dealing with those issues in your feet. Let's just say it's like walking on glass, if you can relate. And I also want to remind everyone, this is my perspective. We'll do some basic training. We're not here to diagnose anybody or make any claims, but we just want to share past experiences with you. So for the last 20 years, we've been dealing with heavy proteolytic enzymes as one of our most favorite things that we can supplement into or complement into our body with what's happening with our body, whether it's food or other issues that are going on. We know that heavy proteolytic enzymes are really magical. And so I want to just kind of take a step back. So Restore is a formula that we have been using for many, many years that Tylene continues to, improve, make better as research continues over the years. It's really important to stay on top of those things. So what's going on, Letty? All right, so here's the thing. When you talk about Restore, I don't want you to just think it's for athletes. However, they're a big fan of Restore because of its natural healing properties, if you will, that helps people recover quicker, whether it's any type of workout or training. It could be just a physical activity, recreational. It could be running up and down the stairs. It could be jogging on the beach. It doesn't mean that you have to be an extreme athlete. So yes, there are a lot of uses for Restore when it comes to athletics, recovery time, performance, etc., because it does so many different things. But I want to enlighten you on all the other things that it does and how people really use it. So yes, we know that we have tons of stories with the athletes out there, and I'd like to maybe just share one or two with you. And my personal journey, as I mentioned, started with my hands, and I had issues in my feet. I was a guy that had to buy those expensive orthotics. I couldn't wear my flip-flops or go barefoot like I do these days because I couldn't really stand on my feet without having pain. And so what happens is when you start breaking this matter, this debris, start cleaning our blood, start going after, it could be scar tissue, all this bad inflammation, these different things that happen and occur in the body, your body starts to make change with that. And that's what I'm super grateful, from Tylene enlightening me about proteolytic enzymes 20 years ago to where we kind of took it. We did have a lot of success with athletes, professional, collegiate, high school, all the way down to the little ones. A couple of those stories that come to mind. Tim Duncan, who was, a 2 or 3 time MVP, whatever he was, with the San Antonio Spurs. He loved using these heavy proteolytic enzymes of ours. Steve Nash, another 2-time MVP of the NBA, the Phoenix Suns for most of his career. He loved using these heavy proteolytic enzymes. And I also want to say that this is different. Let me give you a quick story on, we had a college athlete, college football player actually, who not only did it help with his athletic performance, but what was even more impressive to him was that it was helping him with his allergies and asthma. That was what his experience was. Everyone's experience is going to be different. However, we know this to be true because we've witnessed it, certain issues hundreds of times, some thousands of times. There's just a lot of different things that Restore can do for the human body. So all of those things are wonderful, right? Whether it's athletics or something else. Many people will use Restore to replace kind of that over-the-counter pain medication, if you will. and they'll try this first because it's a much more natural way of doing things without causing harm to the body. You know, we know that there are a lot of over-the-counter drugs or medications, whatever you want to call them, that may put a Band-Aid on an issue, but then there's a rippling effect of other types of issues. And when it comes to pain medications, you know, you hear a lot and you see a lot of research on bleeding in the liver, the stomach, etc. There's a lot of not so fun stuff. So that's all good, but I want you to know there's so many other things. Pain's wonderful to deal with, right, naturally. But have you ever thought about getting stung by a bee, getting bit by a spider? Have you ever wondered what could you do to hang out with animals more because maybe animal dander bothers you? Cats, dogs, whatever it is. These are the same types of things that people have amazing results with. So one of the things to be thinking about is we believe this is an absolute, have to have it right in the cabinet at the house for pain relief, soreness, recovery time, all those things, but we also take it with us everywhere. We don't ever want to leave the house without Restore because it could be something as simple as a bee sting. It could be something as allergies. It could be just people walking in. We'll give it to people. They'll come into our house, and we got a lot of animals out at the ranch. You guys know that, not here at the beach cottage, but at the ranch, man, we got all kinds of animals. And so some people might be have issues with cats, let's say. And so we'll be able to have them use Restore, and all of a sudden they're like, oh my goodness, I've never been able to hang out with cats before. This is really weird. This is really different. So it's just a wide variety of things that you need to kind of be aware of. Remember, heavy proteolytic enzymes are protein splitting enzymes. Okay, so when you think about that, think about some of the meals you eat. Now we take Life, right, our digestive enzymes when we are eating our meals. If you're taking and eating, let's say, consuming a real protein heavy meal, some people will like to take a Restore along with their Life to really make sure they get all those proteins broken down completely, because when you're eating protein or taking some type of protein, your body doesn't know what it is until it's broken down completely to an amino acid, right? That's when the body recognizes it. So we want to break our proteins down all the way to an amino acid because that's what the body recognizes. And that's why we've been able to work with so many athletes and you know, people who are trying to build muscle and strength, because they're like, wow, I'm able to get more protein out of my meals and I'm able to lower my calories. And we've done that. We've proven that. We had a college football player, I remember at the University of Michigan. I started mentioning him earlier, and part of the situation for him was he couldn't put weight on. And they had him on an obscene amount of calories each day, and he just hit a wall. He came to us and said, is there anything you can do for me? And we said, listen, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna lower your calories, keep eating whatever your trainers are telling you to eat. That's not our business. We don't want to step on any toes. But here's the deal. We believe you're gonna get more when you're using Life and Restore. You're gonna get more out of the food you're eating, and you're gonna be able to get more protein into the body where the protein to be utilized. So when he started doing that, the first week he put on 4.5 pounds of lean muscle. He was so excited. And he's also the same young man that was experiencing, much better, scenarios with his asthma, that type of thing. He was just shocked on that. He was like, oh, this is a double whammy for him. All those things are really good. So I just want to keep reminding you. Another thing that, this is how well it works. When you're talking about this formulation, you're talking about, we had lots of doctors, whether it could be a orthopedic surgeon, it could be a plastic surgeon, it didn't matter. But post-surgery is really a time to load up on Restore. So again, that's that recovery thing, that recovery time. Let's talk about the immune system. How important is the immune system right now, right? Well, when you have all this debris floating around in the blood, in the body, you're raising your white blood cell count. And when that's happening, it's very disruptive, right? So it's kind of overworking the immune system, if you will. And we don't want to do that. Not now, not ever, right? You want to keep that river flowing through your body, right? Your blood, our river of life. We want clean blood. We don't want debris in our blood. So the recommended usage on the bottle with when you're taking Restore is, I think we've got 1 in the morning, 2 at night. Part of the reasoning there is 2 at night before bed. Some people can feel nauseous when they're getting used to Restore, okay? And that's just, it is what it is. Not all people, but some. So the least amount of food you can have, like the ultimate is an empty stomach, it's gonna work even better. So if you have a little bit of food, okay, but remember, if you can have little to no food in your stomach, you're gonna get more out of Restore, okay? Now, let's say you're experiencing some type of issue, or your customer, or whoever it is, they're experiencing pain, or whatever the deal is, something happened to them, or post-surgery, or whatever. Remember, you can always take, in a scenario, every couple of hours, you can take 2 to 4 Restore to work on issues. So always remember, the bottle's a suggestion, right? Recommended. However, we all have different scenarios going on. And if someone says they're feeling nauseous taking Restore, just have them start at the 1 or 2 at night before bed, and then they can kind of work their way up. So hopefully that makes sense to you. All these things are really, really important. I started talking about our river of life, right? Our blood is our river of life, and we don't want any debris floating around in our bloodstream. Now, you can just kind of think for yourself, if our blood is not clean, if it's thick and sticky, there's a lot of health issues that will start to go in that not so good road, because there's blockages, right? A lot of people become lethargic. I just don't feel like I have any energy anymore. Well, their blood's not flowing. We want to keep the blood flow. When you're taking enzymes, heavy proteolytic enzymes, digestive enzymes, when you're taking them with your food, that's wonderful. It's digesting and breaking that food down to the smallest molecule. But when you're taking them systemically away from food, it really allows them to do that. I like to always say the old Pac-Man game, right? Just kind of go in and just clean up the blood, looking for undigested, right? Matter that's there that hasn't been broken down all the way completely. And we want to clean that up. So as I mentioned earlier, whether it's scar tissue, right? It could be anything that you can find in the blood that doesn't belong there, basically. And what enzymes do is, when they run into something, they're right? Enzymes themselves are protein, right? So these plant proteolytic enzymes I'm referring to, by the way, we are plant. We are not animal. We are plant enzymes. There's a difference, okay? Just like with life, we are plant enzymes. They're a protein themselves. So if they're going through the blood and all of a sudden, boom, they run into, I was doing the Pac-Man, well, if they run into something, they basically are consuming it, right? They're cleaning it up. And that's what you want. You don't want anything in the way of what the body is normally trying to do on its own, right? Like, as an example, blood flowing from your big toe to your brain, blah, 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 throughout the body. You want it to be smooth sailing. You don't want it to be fudgy, smudgy, thick, right? You don't want that, because now we're going to create some other issues. So Restore is really about cleaning up after, right? And it's a maintenance thing. I take 4 to 6 Restore every day with nothing going on in my body. If I have no issues going on, if I'm not injured, if I didn't work out, if I whatever it was, I'm still a 4 to 6 Restore every day, because I know the power of Restore. There's so much that it will help the body do to, yes, recover, but also maintain and prevent. Remember, everything with their health, everything that we talk about when we create these, when Tylene's doing these supplements, or like we like to call complements, it's really to help prevent issues. However, we also know and recognize that things are going to happen to us. So if you have any athletes in your house, obviously it's a given. You got to have it. Your athletes, if it's you or someone else in your family, anyone you know who's an athlete, you got to turn them on, to Restore. It's just super, super important. All the athletes I worked with over the years, I was a head high school football coach for many years. It's a high school basketball coach for many years. It's just, you got to have it. You have to have that go-to thing that's going to help things go away or reverse or whatever you want to call it, without having to put other things into the body that can cause other issues. So I can barely see, right? There's some things popping up and I can't really read it. I apologize. So I might be able to address some of the things if there's questions coming up, but you certainly can message me all the way through, right? Meaning whatever it is, you can always message, me a quick question, maybe Tylene, if it's something you just don't understand, if it's something customer service can't help you with, obviously go to your upline, go to customer service first. They may know the answer from just from past experience. Health, Wealth, Community on the Facebook group. You got to go in there. You've got to search for things because there are other people that are having very similar issues that maybe they've had a solution from Restore that you can find and relate to, whether it's for yourself, someone you know, or your customer, or whatever. You just can't put enough good into your body, right? This is really what I want you guys to keep thinking about. And all these things you can do before and after, like before a workout, after a workout, or you're dealing with an issue. You start taking it. You can take, I said, even like 2 to 4 every couple of hours. I mentioned surgery. You don't want to take it before surgery because it's going to clean your blood up, right? You want to take that if you were to go in to have any type of surgery, you want to use it afterwards. I brought surgery up to you because just to let you know, this is how amazing it is. We've had so many different types of doctors over the years that use this as an absolute for their patients, as a gotta recover right now after surgery the best you can. And there's so many people that'll go in to some type of surgery or whatever, and they're like, I was amazed, I didn't need to take any blah blah blah, they gave me this for pain, and this just works so well. And you have to remember that when you look at health issues, you can pretty much always look at some type of inflammation has gone wrong, right? There's good inflammation, bad inflammation, but something went wrong over a period of time. And that's what this is all about. We don't want that, right? We want to keep the body at its best. We want everyone to be the best version of themselves that they can be, right? That's really what this has always been. And so make sure when you're going to use Restore, some people might feel nauseous. Let them know when you set that expectation level before, it's all good, right? If you don't, some of them be, oh, I got sick from that product, and they don't want to try it again. But if you tell them before, be aware it may make you feel nauseous. And for some people, you guys, that'll go away after a few times. Sometimes it may never go away because they're toxic, right? The more toxic people can be, it sometimes is, it is what it is, and it may take longer. I know that I don't get nauseous. Maybe 20 years ago, I could get nauseous, right? When I first started out, and now I pound these things, and I don't feel anything as far as being nauseous or whatever. So, but a great way to try it is before bed, and don't limit yourself. I just want to keep reiterating that. You have to have one in your bag, your backpack, your purse. If you know anyone who's outdoors, we're out there in the woods, out there in the middle of nowhere at the ranch. We carry it everywhere. We don't know if we're going to get a bite. We don't know if we're going to get a sting. You just don't know what's going to happen. Make sure you do that. We used to hear people use it all the time back in Arizona for scorpion stings. They would just pound it. Bee stings, like I mentioned earlier. Again, animal dander. You'll be amazed. You'll be amazed if you know people that don't do well around certain animals. Have them try it. Let them experience it for themselves. So these are all real scenarios that we have seen a gazillion times, whatever number that is, over the past couple decades. Don't be afraid to mention these things. So I'm going to check in time-wise. Let's see. Okay, I think I'm getting to that point. So let's kind of recap. Restore, heavy protein splitting enzymes. You don't need to be a rocket, scientist to an expert. You don't need to know a bunch of stuff. You just need to know that they're breaking down your proteins, undigested protein. It's breaking it down to an amino acid. That's what the body recognizes. It also is going to go through the body and really clean up the blood. It's going to look for stuff to clean up. It's going to look for that debris. It's going to look for scar tissue. It's going to look for bad stuff going on. You're going to hear I had this thing going on and whatever it was, and this thing seems to be gone. It was a bump or whatever. You're going to hear some wacky things like that. So that's okay. That's a good thing. But don't ever be surprised, because we always used to say, when in doubt, take Restore. I mean, that was the thing, because it can do so many different things for the body. And yes, it's okay to add one or whatever with your life if you're eating a huge protein meal and you just want to have a little extra help to break that protein down. And as a reminder to people who like to work out or take a lot of protein, or athletes who are trying to gain muscle, absolutely remember, they're going to get more from whatever they're consuming from a protein perspective if they do it with Restore. And lots of people like to put on lean muscle or big muscle, depending on who they are, what kind of athlete they are, if they're just trying to look good, whatever it is. Remember, all these things play together, and Restore is the king. We did this with so many personal trainers over the years. There was just hundreds or thousands of these trainers all over the country, and really in other countries as well. It's everything. So if someone's got some achy shoulders or whatever it is, here, there, it doesn't matter. I remember first time I went snowboarding, I went up to Utah, did some amazing snowboarding with a couple of my sons, and everyone said, "Man, Sean, you haven't been doing this. Your body's just gonna be thrash. You're not gonna walk the next day. You're gonna be so sore." I went out all day. I pounded it, Restore all day long throughout the whole process. I felt nothing. And I was using muscles and doing things I had never done before. And that's what's real. People want to know these types of things. They want to know. So prevent, great. Help afterwards, great. It doesn't really matter. Yes, it's great for sports and all these types of things. But don't be afraid for the animals. We have a lot of people, they'll open those capsules up of Restore. They'll put it right into the dog food or what have you. They'll hide it into cheese and peanut butter. You know how everyone does different things for their pets. Enzymes are amazing, amazing, amazing. There's a lot of different skin issues that can happen from things not being broken down and digested correctly. A lot of different sensitivities or what have you. I'm telling you, guys, gals, Restore is unbelievable. It is the go-to. Make sure you have it with you at all times. So hopefully that was some great info that you can take away and you can start applying that, because I think sometimes we get just caught into a different, we'll see something. Maybe we've heard one story, but we haven't heard more, or we'll just read, maybe the flyer or the label. But I just want you to know, and someone I could barely see on there, and I see someone ask, we can't talk about specific health issues per se, but what you just asked that question was my situation with my feet when it feels like stepping on glass. So many, many years ago, what I was sharing with you was I'd wake up in the morning, I'd have to crawl to the bathroom because I was, I guess, a protein monster, as Tylene used to call me, and I was able to get rid of that, where I can go barefoot, I can wear flip-flops. I had to stop. I used to spend $500 on custom-made orthotics for my shoes, man. That was brutal. I was in my 30s. I'm like, what is wrong with me? This shouldn't be happening. So take this information. Hopefully you took some notes. I forgot to tell you. Share this with your associates. Let them understand there's so many things that you can do to help your body, to help their body. These are compliments. You can call them supplements. We like to call them compliments. Have an amazing night, amazing evening. I'm excited to talk to you again in a couple days on Thursday. It's just great to share this information. I just think it's something we need to be reminded of. All of us. We all need to have these reminders and then also learn different things, because remember, no one needs to be an expert. No one needs to be an expert. We need to know real truths, real stories, testimonials, whatever they are, that we can share with others and give people hope, right? Let's give people hope so they can see that they can help themselves without hurting themselves. That's what it's all about. You guys are amazing. I love you. Thanks for watching. Please share, and we will see you in a couple of days on Thursday. Peace. It's got a 4 in there. What's going on? Hello, hello. We get set up here. Ooh, that's close. That's a close shot. All right. What's going on? Well, you guys can see me okay, hear me okay. Says we are live and in color. What's happening? If anyone is out there, can you say that you can see me and hear me? See if I can do anything about how bright we are, how dark we are. It's a little bit dark. So if my light was a little brighter, let me see. There I am. Okay, right on. What's going on, Piper? Kyle, what's happening? Can you guys hear me okay? Hey, Danielle, let me know. Holy cow, now I'm getting so bright in here that I'm going to get a tan. I got a tanning light on. All right. You can see me, a little dark. How about now? A little lighter? What's up, Angela? Okay. Here we get ready here. Let me see. You can see and hear me. Thank you, Peter. Diane, Daleen. Really cool to see everybody. Hope everyone's doing amazing. Little different backdrop to tonight. Out at the ranch. Not at the beach. Although I love the beach. Be heading back to the beach tomorrow. Beautiful weather at the beach. And actually beautiful weather out here at the ranch. A little bit warmer. So hopefully you guys are doing good. I like to tell everyone to catch their breath. Take a couple deep breaths. And get ready to hear some amazing, fantastic info to help you out. We're talking about balance, a sleeping giant. So much to offer, and it's not that, I don't know, I guess that product's not as talked about as much. The results are talked about, but it's not that quick hitting, right? Let me just try it this, it's not mojo, it's not soothe, it's not life. You don't just feel it immediately, right? So, but it has so much to offer. It's just, I don't think we understand what it is and how powerful it is. So we'll dive in. You guys take some notes if you want, if you can. And I'm going to give you lots of little pieces of information. I think that'll be very helpful when you're sharing balance from Tranont. And people need it. We all need it. So here we go. All right. I have so much info. I'm trying to think, where do I want to start? We're going to talk about balances, which is our whole food, vitamin, mineral, antioxidant product. Vitamins, as you know, are critical to the human body, as are minerals, as are antioxidants. And I think there's so much information out there that can be a little bit confusing. I want to clear that up for everyone so you know what to say to when you're talking to folks and where to go, if they have a question. So I think I'm going to start with synthetics and whole food. That's probably the biggest differentiator out there. There is so many different studies now. For the last couple decades that we've been teaching and preaching this. There wasn't as much research. There was some, but now it's all over the place. So people are really getting used to, what is a synthetic? And they don't really know, but they've heard the term whole food, and it may have been they heard the term from just Whole Food, the store, right? The grocery store, Whole Foods. And so here we go. So when you talk about vitamins, we always want to talk about what we do, which is whole food, versus what most do, which are synthetically created vitamins. You'll even hear studies out there say that, too much of this vitamin or that vitamin could be bad for someone, blah, blah, blah. Well, yeah, that's true if it's synthetic, but not too much food, vitamins from food. That's silly. That's not the case. So keep that in mind. There's some crazy statistics out there. There's some crazy things to think about, and I'll tell you some of those one of the things I remember is there was the U.S. Department of Agriculture surveyed like 21,000 people, and it was crazy that not one of those people, not one in the 21,000, had enough in their body of the 10, like the daily allowance of the 10 most important nutrients in the body. Not one person. I mean, that's like, whoa, not one person met the needs, right? And remember, as we talk about this, keep in mind, we like to say compliments. Tylene and I like to say compliments, not supplements, right? We like to compliment what we're eating or not eating, or what nutrients we're getting or not getting, and that's for a variety of reasons. Did you know that 97% of the American population, 97%, they do not eat a balanced, they don't have a balanced diet that they're regularly consuming to give the body the nutrients that it's looking for. So let's talk about this whole food versus synthetic thing. You hear us talk a lot about vitamin C, and that's because vitamin C is probably the most common, popular vitamin out there, and people can relate to that. And so when you're looking at supplements, when you're looking at vitamins, and you're looking at labels, you always want to look at, next to that vitamin, what is the source? So typically, most vitamin C products out there, as an example, and we can talk about others, you'll see ascorbic acid. And if you've heard us before, ascorbic acid is typically corn syrup and hydrochloric acid. And as we like to joke, none of us are corn syrup deficient, right? And so when it says vitamin C as ascorbic acid, you know instantly, automatically, that it's synthetically made. Well, what does that mean? Well, it means they're using this corn syrup and hydrochloric acid to create a piece, a fraction of what a real vitamin C molecule would be. When you're getting vitamin C from food, it's whole. And there's other factors that make up that vitamin C molecule. And I don't want to get into all the detail, but there's kind of 4 pieces basically of that pie. And so when the body doesn't recognize these synthetic vitamins, maybe you've heard this before, it doesn't know what to do, so it starts to do things to make that vitamin whole so it can utilize it, like pulling from your hair, your skin, your nails, your bones, whatever it is, which isn't very good. We don't want that. We don't want those things to happen. And there's all kinds of negative things that research and studies show if you're using or people are using synthetic vitamins. And most people just don't know this. They don't know that, when you're taking a synthetic form of, let's say, vitamin C, like we're talking about, that, you're getting hardening, the arteries are starting to harden. Okay, that's not cool. That's not a benefit. They don't know that when you're taking, let's say, vitamin E, that's in a synthetic form, that can cause a toxic reaction in the body. I mean, these and then it actually blocks other nutrients that are trying to be utilized in the body. These types of things are not good. Vitamin A, that's another one which just blows my mind. Maybe you've heard this before from us. Vitamin A from palmitate, right? So that would be a synthetic form of vitamin A. We don't do that. Which is known to cause birth defects. Okay, well, why would we want that if we were pregnant? Did you know that most prenatal vitamins have vitamin A from palmitate? That's pretty interesting to me. Most of the moms to be don't know this, and the challenge is, maybe if they do know this or recognize this, they may ask their doctor, their pediatrician, what have you, okay, doc, why am I taking this prenatal with these synthetic, there's vitamin A from palmitate? And usually the doctor will respond with, well, there's not enough in there to do any damage or harm, which is nonsense, because they don't know what that mom to be is doing when they leave that office. Sure, they may be getting a certain amount of vitamin A from palmitate out of their vitamin or prenatal vitamin supplement, what have you, but what else are they eating throughout the day? And so many of the foods we're eating are enriched and fortified. When you read that on these packages, enriched and fortified, you guys, that's synthetic, right? These are not enriched and fortified whole food vitamins. These are enriched and fortified with a bunch of poo, the synthetic stuff. And so now those numbers can go over, and now there's, those potential issues because they're getting too much of this, vitamin A from palmitate. So it's just critical that we understand the source of our vitamins and our minerals, right? So I'm talking about vitamins right now, but even with minerals, you have to have a good form of minerals, and we use chelated minerals, and there's patents on this chelation process. We chelate in such a way that really the body is going to take or not take. Hold on, it looks like my video's going away. Bear with me. Not sure. Let me know, you guys, in the comments if what you see, because all I'm getting is a message and a black screen from Facebook right now. Maybe they heard these things I'm saying. They don't like it. Let's see here. Okay. I don't know. Saying it's having trouble. So someone let me know on there if you can still see me and hear me, because I'm getting a message saying it's having trouble playing the video. So let me know if that's the case, just in case I need to start all over. Okay, so I'm going to keep going. Thank you, Danielle. I'm good. All right. I don't see myself, so I'll talk to this black screen. That's kind of weird. Okay, so where was I at? What were we talking about? Talking about our poor forms of vitamins and minerals. So even our minerals need to be a good form, right? So as an example, calcium. If you get this poor form of calcium, it's basically you're eating your kid's chalk, right? I mean, it's silly. It's silliness, and so why would we want to do that? Why would we want to spend money? Why would we want to put these things into our body? But that's what these vitamins and supplements are. You guys, over 90% of all the vitamins and supplements that I researched, that I looked at over the years and still do, they're still using bad forms, either synthetic vitamins, poor forms of minerals. Minerals are just rocks, but minerals can become toxic, right? You have to have a good form there. You want the body to know what it's doing. And when I said the word, speaking of minerals, when I said chelated, you can chelate in different ways, and people have jumped on that bandwagon of chelation. Sometimes they'll say chelated, on their label. Well, what are they chelating with? And you look at it a little deeper, and they're chelating with fructose. They're trying to force something into the body. We don't want that. And just so you know what chelation is to claw. So if I could see myself on the screen, maybe you can see me. I don't know. I can't see me. So if I had someone grab me on this side and grab me on this side, they're chelating me. Okay. So when we're chelating these minerals, we're escorting them into the body. We're chelating with the amino acid glycine, and we're just allowing the body to decide at that particular time if it wants, whatever it is that they're eating, or in food, it decides what do they want, what does your body want and need at that time. Well, when you supplement, we want your body to have the same decision, right? We don't want the body to have anything forced into it, and so we talk about that, and I've done different little scenarios before about eating spinach or whatever it is, and so whatever minerals, let's say I'm getting from that food, if it's calcium, let's say we're already talking about calcium. Let's say you and I we went out and we had a meal, and in that food, whether it's spinach or whatever it was, let's say it was calcium that was in there, our body would decide if it wanted it. And if you sat around on the couch all day and you didn't need it, and let's say my body needed it for whatever reason, I was out running around all day or in the sunshine or working out or whatever it was, my body would take and absorb that. So that's the concept. We don't want to force things into the body. We certainly don't want to force minerals into the body. We want the body to utilize what it wants at that particular moment when it's consuming something. So keep that in mind. It's just a really, really big deal, because again, give the body what it needs, and then let the body decide what it's going to do with it and when and if it needs it at that particular moment. That's very different than force feeding the body into something. So I don't know if people understand that these vitamins are all critical to us, and these different nutrients are so critical. Magnesium does a few hundred different things in the human body. there's a rippling effect with that, right? And so if we're not getting our enough magnesium into our body, that could affect up to 300 different things. Well, that's not good. And so being deficient of even just one little vitamin can cause you issues, right? Because especially if you're or a nutrient or whatever it is, whether it's a mineral, vitamin, some sort of nutrient, if we're deficient in that, now we can create a whole host of things that can go wrong, right? So if you don't have enough vitamin A, what's going to happen? Well, eventually you're probably not going to be able to see anymore, right? That's what vitamin A. So what would be a good source of vitamin A? We mentioned palmitate was bad, but when you're getting it from food, you don't see studies saying you're eating too many carrots, and that's bad. That's toxic for the body. That's not the case. So I want you to really understand synthetic versus whole food. That's what this is all about. You've heard us talk even like whole flower, whole plant, even like with Soothe and the entourage effect. It's no difference when you're in nature with foods and plants and fruits and vegetables, because that's what's delivering what we need. That's what's delivering the goods, because they all work synergistically. They all work together. When we create this nonsense in these labs, it's very difficult for the body to know what to do with them, and then we're causing other issues. So it's really, really weird. And I mean, let me see if we talked